Hello, boys and girls, or konnichiwa. Today we are going to start our Japanese Notan designs. You're going to need a solid background color, whether that's white, or you could also do a purple background with a white square. Either one is fine as long as you have two different colors of paper. The important thing is we need a perfect square that is a lot smaller than your big background. So how do we get a perfect square? I'm going to show you two different ways. I have a little paper cutter at home, so I cut my square on that, 5 inches by 5 inches. But I know a lot of you at home do not have paper cutters, so let's see how we can make a perfect square. The first thing I'm going to do is have us do a hamburger fold. So line up your corners, take your hand down, karate chop across. Now, the fold right here, we're going to just take our scissors and cut across it. After I do this step, you may already know this if you are into making fortune tellers. You're going to take your rectangle and make it a perfect square by taking and folding this up to the side so that it makes a triangle, and then make your crease. You can do one of two things. If you want to take your pencil, let's see, is this sharp? Yep. If you want to take your pencil and draw your line down, that's one way, or you could fold over. I'm just going to save time and just use that pencil line. It's pretty faint. Let's see if I can, let's see, can you see it? Yes. Now, when you cut this rectangle piece off, just set it over to the side. Now we have our perfect square. All right, so we know that Notan is the balance of light and dark. So when we do our project today, we're focusing on shadow, but light and dark also. We're focusing on positive and negative space. So anytime we do this project, we are going to be doing a specific way of cutting out a shape from the center of our square. And it's really important that we always flip over and out. Now, you may go, well, what are you talking about, Mrs. Stevenson? So I'll show you. You're going to start by cutting. Let's say I want to do a half circle. Now, if you notice, and this is what is the most frustrating or important thing, I did not, and I repeat, I did not cut away these corners. If you cut away your corner of your square, you're going to have a very challenging time. So stay away from those corners. Another way, I'm going to use a marker so you can see. Let's say you don't feel as confident with the method of just going in and cutting. You can also draw a shape on each side of your square. So this is an organic shape. I can't say this is a circle, square, rectangle. It's a squiggly line. So any shape that does not have a mathematical definition is called an organic shape. So I love organic shapes. I'm going to do one here. Maybe I'll do another here. And then I'm going to simplify this one slightly and do like a side oval. So if you're the type of visual learner where you need a little guidance, draw it out first, then cut. Anytime you cut, I did my first one. I'm going to go, all right, now I need the positive and negative. If I take and turn, did you see that important turn? And then have this part touch that part. Now I can see the entire symmetrical pattern and shape, but it's only visible if I have the light and the dark touching. Does that make sense? So if I take this away, does it look like a circle anymore? Not at all, but if I put it back together and touch it, now both sides are balanced. So that is what the Notan, the light and the dark, their concept and what they're talking about. I need to turn my paper. Notice I didn't glue that down yet. And I'm going to pick up my square and I'm going to follow my line that I drew. I didn't go right on the line. Oh my goodness, is that all right? Absolutely. Now, does it go like this? Does that match? Is that symmetrical? No way, Jose. Turn it around. Now, I want to make sure that I line my cut out inside here before I go, all right, now I know I have to turn it out. And look at that shape. That's pretty cool. So I may want to jump to a bigger piece of paper so I'm not limited to the smaller background, but you guys can decide that. If I cut this one out, it's probably going to overhang. So I have another larger sheet of paper. If you don't, you can always take two of these smaller and then just glue them together. But in my downstairs office here, I have quite a lot of different options for my paper. All right, now I need to do my last minimum of 2 cuts.
Get out here, chair.
So that was my son Julius talking in the background. When I finish the last 2 cuts, you could be done, or if you're like Mrs. Stevenson, I like a challenge, I can keep going and making it even more intricate. Do you see how I didn't really sweat not being on the line? So I need to line it up. Then I need to do what? On the count of 1, 2, 3, flip. I have to ask Senora Ober what flip is in Espanol, and then line it up. Now you guys are seeing how our shapes are being created by both the, what's this called? Positive, negative, positive, negative, negative. You probably thought I was going to say positive, negative space, positive space. One more cut, and then I'll show you how you can really jazz it up if you'd like. All right, now I'm going to take my scissors, make sure that I cut. Now, what do I have to do with this? If I line it up like this, is this correct? Not at all. So make sure we have a nice solid foundation here. Go around. All right, now what do I need to do, boys and girls? Put it in here, then I need to take it and turn it out. Ooh, it's kind of like a heart. I didn't anticipate that. So the most important thing, if you get to this step and you say, all right, cool, I love this, and I do, I'm going to glue it down. My recommendation always, always, always is to glue this down first in the center. You can use a glue stick. You can use Elmer's glue. I like glue sticks only because they don't ooze out everywhere. Mom and Dad probably are with me on that one. All right, so I'm going to go around the edges, in the corners. If I only do a dot, it's not going to stick. It's going to be flippity-floppity everywhere. Then make sure that I'm lining up and moving these just a little bit out of the way. So scooch those. Then I always take and press and really make sure that everything is nicely smoothed out and glued to its where it needs to go. All right, so now, whoop, your fingers might be a little sticky. Just do one of these. You don't need to wash your hands until you're done with the glue, because if you're like me, you'll get more glue on yourself. Make sure to check and double check that, oh, if I accidentally misplaced or moved my shape, does it go in the correct way? Yes, it does match this way, but I have to then flip it out. So if I were to do this, does that make any sense? No. So in order to see the light and the dark balance, keep it in there, then turn it out. And it creates such a beautiful shape within the positive and negative space. The tricky part is remembering what side to glue on. This is my positive side that I want facing up. So turn it, glue on this side where I have my marker lines. Then you want your paper shape to touch the edge of your square so that you actually can see the two shapes. Now, if this this could be finished, I could be glued, but I'm gonna show you a little bit more detail. Maybe you really are into this and you're going to just keep on keeping on. I encourage that, I think it's awesome. All right, but I wanna make sure I'm correctly lining them up so that I can see the shape within the shape. So is this correct? Yes. Now I need to take it and then I need to flip it and turn it. Do you see how now there's a shape within a shape within a shape? And I'm gonna go and kick it up a notch again. Here we go. Cut. Maybe make it kind of like our targets. And then I'm going to turn it out. And then I could keep going on and on and on. As long as I have these spaces, whoops, my gluey fingers, these spaces touching each other, you can see your shape. You can get really into it, and if you look at the video above the video link here, there's a Japanese Notan snowflake that I put on for your pleasure, but you could make this almost look like a face. Maybe I want to have it look like an eye. So I'm gonna have this down here, and then I'm gonna take it and I'm going to make sure I flip it out. Have the two parts touching. So maybe this kind of looks like an eye, maybe not. It's a triangle, but it's still an interesting composition. So this is how I would like you to start. You can start simple. You can go to all different sorts of places with color combinations.